Hey guys, SweetBananaGaming here, coach of your Orlando Solgaleo, here with a PGBL Season 2 Week 6 team builder for our match against the Durham Druddigons. And this, actually, this should be the final match that I'm recording in advance, although technically I've already recorded Week 7, so that, in the order you're watching it, that will be the final one recorded in advance. But I'm about to go out of town for the rest of the month of January, basically, and this will be my last PGBL match before then, so I'm gonna put my little plug in the beginning this time. If you're excited for the next PGBL match, go ahead and leave a like down below and a comment, and of course subscribe if you haven't already. Anyway, let's get into it. This is another one of those where my sets, I have my sets written down. They're not quite finalized in that I don't have them all in the game, so a couple things might change, and I haven't run all my calcs, so I'm on the fence about a couple of moves. So they are subject to change before my match tomorrow. But let's just take a quick overview of my opponent's team here. Some of the big threats to be aware of course, the Mega Diancie can be a big pain. It got solid stats all around, and it is a magic bouncer, just like my Mega Absol, so it is a hazard deterrent, as well as can set hazards of its own. The Zygarde could be a threat, although I don't know if he'll bring it, and I mean, he might want to bring it because of to face the Naganadel, but still, I 1v1, Naganadel 1v1 Zygarde just fine, so I doubt he can bring it. I have many things that could get ice-type attacks, so, and I have a fairy, so I don't know if he'll bother bringing it, but I'll get to those ice moves shortly, because I don't have any on these sets, but I'll talk about that more when I get to those sets. Infernape, of course, Infernape was a Pokemon that I wanted to draft, got drafted before me, but you know, hey, it's okay, I got Blaziken. Blaziken's done decent for me so far. Scolipede is a huge annoyance. I hate facing Scolipede. With Speed Boost, it's kinda broken. Could run Aqua Tail for any fire types I decide to bring. Just all in all, an annoying Pokemon to face. But pretty predictable, so I can kind of plan around that. And then we have Snorlax. Could be annoying. We probably won't see a Belly Drum set since it's not one of his Z users, so we won't be seeing any Z Belly Drum shenanigans. More than likely will be a Curse set if he's going to be a setup set, but you know, could see a Belly Drum, so we gotta watch out for that. Necrozma is also annoying. Prism Armor basically diminishes the power of any super effective moves, so it is an annoying thing to KO. I am bringing Paul, as you can see, and actually Bob is the Pokemon that went 1v1 against Necrozma in the previous season, my special Slowbro, but I'm bringing my physical Slowbro because I've been reminded of the fact that if, was it Prismatic Laser that Necrozma gets now, that can be physical or special, depending on whichever one does more damage, which freaking broken move, but I have two Pokemon that are technically Ubers on my draft, so I can't complain too much. And then the rest of them, like Sneasel, whatever, Sarina could be a threat, but it's slow, so I'm not too worried about it. I do have to, you know, remember that I can't use priority if Sarina is out, but Klefki gonna be annoying with those with Prankster and Screens. I feel like he would almost definitely bring it because of the fact that I so heavily, like, Naganadel is such a heavy powerhouse on my team, but I do have a couple of things that I think can answer it in one way or another. And then there's Vaporeon, which is just a solid tanky water type Pokemon. Alright, but let's get into my team real quick, and I'm gonna, like, I've been trying in the past few weeks not to ramble on too much about my team, so I'm gonna go over it real quick. I have the Mega Absol, which I'm not 100% sold on which moveset I'm using. I know I want Swords Dance, and I'm pretty sure I want Superpower. Because of the Snorlax, you can kind of see in my layout there, I'm not bringing the Blaziken, so I would like something that can hit the Snorlax for super effective damage. That being said, Knockoff by itself, depending on the spread on the Snorlax, can do about 50% by itself. So I might not even need Superpower. Although again, once knockoff happens once, it won't. Once you knock off the item, it won't get that boosted damage. So a knockoff into a superpower might be reasonable. But I am between, like, Knockoff and maybe Will-O-Wisp, because, again, thinking about Scolipede going for Swords Dance, or for Snorlax going for Curse, or Belly Drum if it chooses to do that. Any other Pokemon that choose to set up. I think Necrozma gets Swords Dance. Swords Dance into Prismatic Laser would be annoying. So, I'm debating running Will-O-Wisp for that reason, and I could. I'm just not sure what I get rid of. I would like to run Swords Dance, in case I get something I can set up on, but I don't know. I might swap it for Will-O-Wisp. I'm thinking about that, because I want Sucker Punch around in case I need priority. In week 3, if you guys remember, Sucker Punch kind of helped me out there. If the Scolipede is getting to be just setting up too much, I could play games with that with the Sucker Punch. Then part of me, because of the Klefki, okay, because being Dark type and having Magic Bounce, I kind of can pretty much dismantle most of what Klefki will try to accomplish with Prankster. I guess he can still set screens, but if he tries to use anything on me, they'll be deflected because of Magic Bounce, and I think Prankster just doesn't work if you try to use moves on a Dark-type Pokemon, but I think he'll still get screens set, so I'm not a perfect counter to it. So I was debating running a Naive Absol with Fire Blast, when I'm still not convinced that I won't do that between now and tomorrow, but we'll have to see, because then I have to worry about missing Fire Blast and all of that. So it'll be more likely that Absol will just be a switch-in to Klefki, just to take or deflect a status move or something. But yeah, so that's the Absol set. Like I said, I'm pretty sure about having Knockoff, Superpower, and Sucker Punch. Well, Superpower and Sucker Punch I'm fairly certain about. I will probably have Knockoff, so then I guess it's just between Swords Dance and Will-O-Wisp, I think. Or Knockoff and Will-O-Wisp, but probably between Swords Dance and Will-O-Wisp. Now Naganadel. I'm not going to spend too much time on Naganadel because I've pretty much brought the same thing every week, other than week 1. The only thing different was the Z Crystal, but right now, this is my Naganadel. This is my set. It has done really good work in past games, and the thing I have to watch out for, of course, is I want to get rid of the Scolipede, or at the very least, I need to, if I have to face the Scolipede, I better hope that I have a speed boost or 2 up before Scolipede starts speed boosting. So Scolipede is the one thing that could outspeed my Naganadel outside of priority moves, and I just realized I didn't put up the EV spread on this guy, but it's standard, you guys know. So, yeah, so Scolipede being boosted is the only thing, well, aside from anything that's Scarfed, which I wouldn't be surprised if Infernape shows up, if the Infernape is Scarfed, and I think Infernape gets Earthquake, so I do have to be aware of that. Slowbro can counter that pretty well. I was able to tank, like, U-turns from things, and, other super effective hits on other teams with Paul. And I'll also get to my set on Silvally again. Yeah, but this set is what it is. I mean, I have Fire Blast for the Scolipede or the Klefki, and if I can get a Nasty Plot boost, I'm not sure what would be safe to set up on. Depending on what he runs on Vaporeon, maybe. Depending on, a couple of things, depending on, I just remembered, how Klefki can have a Prankster taunt, which is annoying, so I do have to watch out for that. So he does have things that kind of check my Naganadel, and as for Sneasel, I don't know that he would bring it, you know, it's not fully evolved, but if he wants that priority again, just kind of spamming, like, to have a switch in and use Fake Out, or spam Ice Shard, I mean, he could bring it. But it's not too big of a threat, not compared to what Weavile would be, so it's not too bad. But anyway, this set you've seen before, I won't spend too much more time on it, you guys all know. And similarly, sets that you guys all know, it's my set for Paul, the famous Paul, the infamous Paul to some, to her enemies. Paul, Bold Nature, Scald, Calm Mind, Slack Off, Psyshock. This was one Pokemon where I was considering running Ice Beam in case the Zygarde showed up. But honestly, Scald would do a decent amount to it in the first place, and plus, if I get some Calm Mind boosts, Scald will do plenty. I mean, it won't be as much of an instant kill switch as Ice Beam, but Scald would be a safer move to go for anyway because I hit everything except the Vaporeon, which has Water Absorb. I hit everything for something. Well, okay, the Sarina I'd have to be careful about, but pretty much everything else is not going to respond too well to a boosted Scald. And if I have to 1v1 the Necrozma, so be it, I will try. Yeah, there's not too much more to say about this. Is Paul's classic set. It works for a reason, so we're gonna keep that. Alright, next we're going into Silvally. I believe this is my defensive Silvally EV spread, which I've used in the majority of my battles where I've used Silvally so far. Probably all but one, I think, at this point. And I think this one with Flying Memory, so it's the same type that I used back in week 3. And so this is to kind of compensate for my 2 ground weaknesses that I have on my team. If the Zygarde shows up, or if the Infernape runs Earthquake, maybe. Anything else that might run ground-type attacks? I don't know, but I have to watch out for Stealth Rock, so let's start with that. I was debating, you know, Parting Shot is a common thing to run on Silvally. It's a nice thing to have on Silvally. At the same time, not having any hazard removal potentially when Necrozma's a thing, and Necrozma, I don't have, if I'm not boosted on somebody, I can't one-hit KO the Necrozma with anything, so he's pretty much guaranteed to get Stealth Rocks up, so I would like to have the Defog there just as a, you know, just in case I need it, knowing that the Silvally itself is going to take super effective damage from Stealth Rock, but I mean, I also have Mega Absol as sort of a deterrent for setting up hazards. But this is, if you know, push comes to shove, I need to get rid of them. So as much as I would love to run Parting Shot, I think running Defog will be better in this case. Air Slash is there for stab. It'll do good damage to the Infernape, to the Scolipede, to the Sarina. And Flash Cannon is there to one-hit KO the Diancie if I need to. It's super effective on Sneasel. And that's about it on there, but it's really a good thing if I could use it on the Diancie. Now, keeping that in mind, depending on whether Diancie is physical or special, I might have a hard time living a rock-type move from Diancie, but I think, from my calculations, depending on what he does on it, I should be able to live a Diamond Storm, is it? So if I'm at full health, I should be able to live it, and if I need to get off a Flash Cannon, not that I know that he would stay in on it, but if he did, I should know that I should be able to live one from full and get a Flash Cannon off, if that, you know, if the situation comes to that. Thunderbolt is for the Vaporeon, pretty much. This is where I wasn't sure whether to run that or Ice Beam, or whether I had room for Parting Shot after all. The thing with Ice Beam is, like, okay, it goes against the Sarina, but I already have Air Slash for Sarina, other than the fact that it's 100% accurate, but Air Slash is also stab, so it'll be better. The Air Slash will do an okay amount to Zygarde, I guess. And I need Air Slash for, I have Air Slash for other Pokemon too. But then Thunderbolt, I'm thinking, okay, I could run Thunderbolt, which is only really useful against the Vaporeon. But at the same time, I was thinking, well, maybe Air Slash does enough that with stab that it doesn't matter. But Thunderbolt can do, it's still a 3-shot, but it does very close to half, so Thunderbolt seems like it's still worth having. And plus, getting a Thunderbolt off on, his only immunity is the Zygarde, so getting a Thunderbolt off and potentially having the chance to paralyze something, I mean, okay, Ice Beam I have the chance to freeze, but the chance for freeze hacks is lower than the chance for para hacks, I think. So, as it is, and I don't want to have to be cheap. I know what happened in week 4, where I got the cheap freeze, but I don't want to have to rely on that. So this is the set I'm thinking of running. I'm still a little bit on the fence about Thunderbolt versus Ice Beam versus Parting Shot, but I think this is probably the set I'm going to run. And then next, we're bringing back Lycanroc. Lycanroc was pretty nice to us in, I think it was week 4 we used Lycanroc, and Minna had kind of the setup sweep at the end of the game. And this is mostly to answer the Scolipede, with Accelerock. Accelerock unboosted does a solid, like, 50 or more %. So, if I get a Swords Dance up, if my sash isn't broken against the Scolipede, as Swords Dance up and Accelerock. Now, I don't think the Scolipede would stay in on it necessarily. If I can get if I get the Scolipede to like 60 or so % health, 50 or 60% health, and I send it in, I can just click Accelerock right away. It might scare away the Scolipede, so it get rid of his speed boosts maybe. So there's that as well. Also, I have Accelerock. It hits the Sneasel. Sneasel can still outspeed me if he decides to just run Ice Shard, but again, most likely wouldn't just stay in on me. I'd have to catch it on, or it wouldn't switch in on me either. I don't know. I'd have to somehow catch it there. Let's see. Drill Run is for the Klefki, and to some extent for the Diancie, and the Infernape. And yeah, that's about it. Now for the final move, I'm on the fence. I'm thinking Stone Edge, but I'm gonna have to do my calculations again on Crunch and see if it's if it does enough to Necrozma if I'm boosted to be worth it, or whether I just would rather run Stone Edge and everything. Crunch is kind of nice though, because I don't have to worry about missing, so I might be leaning a little bit more toward that. But this is my set. Lycanroc Dusk is a pretty good Pokemon. Like, I've only got to use it a couple times. I think I've only used it in one PGBL match so far. But it has a nice, it covers things that I need in this match in particular, I think. Especially the main thing is going to be having that access to that Accelerock, because to my knowledge, I don't think that Scolipede has access to any priority. I could be wrong there, but I'm pretty sure, because having Speed Boost and then also having priority would just be broken, I think. I don't know if, by the way, I don't know if Speed Boost Blaziken can get Mach Punch by like Egg Move or Tutor or whatever, but anyway, as far as I know, Pokemon with Speed Boost shouldn't have any priority moves. Maybe Yanmega has Quick Attack or something. But anyway, so this Sash is another good reason why I want to try to keep rocks off the field. So, you know, hopefully maybe I'm rid of Necrozma by the time, or I just, hopefully rocks are not up when I go in, so I can get a free setup and then just go priority. Now, if the Sneasel is around, I do have to be careful because I know Sneasel gets priority, and Sneasel is naturally faster than me by a little bit, but it is. So, I'd have to watch out for that, for sure. But yeah, that's my Lycanroc set. Pretty good. So now, coming to the most interesting set, and this is the one that I don't quite have ready in the game with this EV spread. I got clued in on a very interesting Clefable set, and actually I'm gonna have to change this to Moonlight, because my one Clefable that has Soft Boiled, I can't get access to the other moves. It's a long story, because it has to do with which Pokemon were evolved at what level, and whether their pre-evolution learned the right move, and blah blah blah, and breeding, whatever. So it's just suffice to say, this set was supposed to have Soft Boiled on it, but I have to run Moonlight. Anyway, this is a weird Clefable. It's a weakness policy Clefable set. Calm Nature, although I guess you could run it bold with swapped defense and special defense EVs. With you know, kind of split, max HP and kind of split investment between defense and special defense. And the idea here is to set up Cosmic Power to the point where until someone hits you with a super effective attack, get weakness policy off, you know, Moonlight, restore your HP, and then go like Stored Power and or Charge Beam depending on the situation. And so this is the thing. I was a little bit like on the fence about, okay, I'm not running Moonblast, which since I wasn't running any ice attacks, it might be good to run Moonblast in case the Zygarde shows up, and just to have a powerful stab attack. But this set, if I manage to pull off this set, Stored Power will hit anything except Sneasel, and then Charge Beam would do plenty to Sneasel anyway, so I think this is a worthy thing to run here. I'm trying to think who would hit me with super, like the Scolipede would be most likely to hit me with super effective attack, some kind of Poison Tail or some kind of poison type attack. And that's what I would have to hope for. I start setting up on somebody else, he sends in the Scolipede and tries to get an attack on me. And yeah, and I was wondering if, because this set calls for Magic Guard, I was almost wondering if it might be better to run Unaware so that other Pokemon can't sit up on you while you're sitting up. But two things. One, I don't have time to get an unaware Clefable right now, but besides that, specifically since I have to rely on getting hit by poison type attack, and Scolipede is the one most likely to be carrying a super effective attack being the poison type attack. If I get poisoned, you know, or if someone toxics me, this whole setup strategy is, you know, almost useless. So I'm gonna go ahead and say Magic Guard is probably the better thing to run. So that'll be an interesting set to try. I have a Pokemon, I have a Clefairy that I need to, you know, rework their EVs, evolve it, and get the moves on it. So I'm gonna try that set. It seems very interesting. Other than that, that's pretty much it. I told you a couple of moves that I'm a little on the fence about. I'm a little on the fence with Absol, and I'm a little on the fence with Sylvala and Lycanroc, kind of. But doing some more damage calculations will probably help me with that. Anyway, guys, that's it. Thanks so much for watching. Once again, if you enjoyed the video and if you're excited for the Week 6 match in the PGBL, go ahead and leave a like down below, leave a comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, if you don't want to miss a single battle. And once I record this, I'm gonna actually be out of the country for basically the rest of the month, or out of town for the rest of the month. And, yeah, but you'll see the PGBL matches go up to, like, Week 7. Well, so this will be next week for you. And then when I get back, actually, this might be going up the weekend I get back, but anyway, I'm gonna have to record my Week 8 match when I get back. I might be a little late recording that, we'll see, because it's kind of right when I get back. But anyway, you guys don't need to know those details. All my videos should come up on time for you, but you know, if there's an issue, just keep in mind that's the reason. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time for our Week 6 battle of Season 2 of the PGBL, your Orlando Solgaleo versus the Durham Druddigons. I will see you then.